It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. There's just a lot going on. There's just a lot going on in the landscape. And it's like non-typical stuff going on in the middle of you're already pushing. Listen, it should already be like the most important time of the year. The calendar's changing in November. Everybody's jockeying for playoff position. What's up, Dr. John? What's up, Bert? Bert's back from the grave for Halloween. It's already a crazy time of year because you have all the jockeying for playoff position. November football, the first playoff thing comes out, I believe next Tuesday? Something like that. Everybody's jockeying for position and you're all worried about all of that. And then you add in all of this coaching stuff and all the BK stuff and all the how about this? Remember when it was a big deal that James Franklin got fired? Like it's like not even a thing anymore. It's just like old news. There's a lot going on. And then you as a Notre Dame person, you got to kind of compartmentalize all this. And that's where I've been at lately. It's like, okay, you have the Notre Dame stuff and then you had the bye week. So it kind of gave you a little like window in your mind to be able to think about all the other stuff and whatever without having to play. And you have all of that mixed in with all this coaching stuff. It's just, I'm telling you, college football is the most drama-filled, awesome regular season in sports. I love it. There's always some sort of drama. There's always some scoop. There's always some story. It's extra, man. But this is the greatness of our sport being the shortest regular season in all of sports. There is no regular season shorter. And what that means is every game, it just means more. Ask the LSU people. It just means more. So this is just an interesting time to be alive in the college football landscape, man. It's just a little, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I still don't know. And I see you guys with your different opinions. Join the show. Link in the description. Or link in the chat, whatever. I still am unclear about where Notre Dame's playoff chances lie. I am still unclear of what that situation is. I just don't know. I've seen a bunch of different arguments, and this is one of those things where I'm genuinely not sure where I fall. And we'll get into some of that. But I can't be the only one who's pulling up the ESPN thing with the schedule week to week and being like, okay, if this team loses, we can move up there. If that team loses, we can move up here. I don't know how this is going to go. And so it's going to be A lot of drama, but all I know is Notre Dame's got to win all these games, and I think you got to do it by a lot. I think you got to win all these games, and you got to do it by a lot. So it's interesting because now you're through the big games for Notre Dame. They're all big games, but you know what I mean, like the big three, the big games, right? And now I think the pressure it isn't just can Notre Dame win this game and we're all good. I think people are expecting and wanting you to kick the crap out of these teams and prove whatever you could prove against the back part of this schedule that isn't overly impressive, not a lot of ranked teams, all that kind of stuff. No highlight games, whatever. The best thing you could do is win all 5 and make it convincing, and then maybe you get some help. Like I don't know. It's super interesting. So I don't know, you guys. It's really interesting. Let's get into it. You have a bunch of interesting super chats that I want to get to, and then I got some BC stuff on my mind. Following up on some of the Kelly stuff. I'm telling you what is really interesting to me that I've learned about the LSU landscape. The complication of the governor pulling the levers here because it's a state institution and LSU doesn't have a president right now. And the governor differs personally and politically than the AD. So they're clashing, right? And it's just an angle to consider that is just wild. But down there, that's just how it is. It seems wild to us, but it's really interesting to hear the LSU people speak about, the governor, all these people serve at the pleasure of the governor, and the AD don't get along, and there's no president as a buffer in between. And it sounds like the governor's going to want to hire the president he wants and tell that president to get rid of this AD and hire a different AD, and then they all get the guy they want to coach at LSU. That's kind of what I'm gathering, and it's just kind of a wild landscape. It's just kind of a wild landscape. Will says, LSU football, this is good. I put the link in again. Make sure you guys have it. Anybody wants to jump in, feel free. LSU football means more to the state of Louisiana than the Saints do. When LSU sucks, the state's very angry. Yeah, I wasn't BSing when I said it is one of the most unique and special cultures in all of college football. I always respected it. I always thought it was awesome. I loved how insane those people were about the football. They got the old Bayou thing. It's just a really cool, unique college football culture. And one that you knew Brian Kelly would never fit into in a million years. Anyone that has any familiarity with Brian Kelly should have known right away this was never going to work. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm putting myself out there, but I don't care. I know Brian Kelly better than he knows himself. How do I want to say this? It wouldn't surprise me. I didn't think Brian Kelly liked the Notre Dame fans. I thought he thought we're a bunch of whiny, give me everything. Just a bunch of whiny, like snobby gnats that are bugging him because nothing's ever good enough, right? And we always want more. I think he looked at us like snobby little brats, kind of always asking for more. And that's the perception I had of how he thought of us. Not like on his side, wanting him to succeed, but kind of like against him. And I thought he found us to be annoying, right? It wouldn't surprise me deep down if Brian Kelly looked down on the LSU fan base of like these Southern, hill rods cooking their crawdads and nothing I do is enough. It wouldn't. He tried to do the surface level. I'm one of you, me and my family. Oh, let's have a crawdad boil. That whole thing. deep down, I got a feeling that guy resents those people and looks down on them as being a polished, put together Northeasterner, not from that culture. I got a feeling he kind of had an issue with them too. And it's like, it was just a culture fit that was never going to fit. A culture fit that was never going to fit. It always, of all the jobs a Brian Kelly could take, if he left Notre Dame, I can't think of one that's less of a comfortable fit than LSU. Like, and I thought it at the time, and I wrote about it at the time, and I talked about it at the time. It was one of the least like fits I ever saw. So it is bizarre. Yeah, Mikey, this is interesting. This is interesting. Is it true BK's only getting around $20 million in the buyout due to the morals clause? I heard it was negotiated down from the 54. I saw this on Twitter, and I'm not sure the veracity of the report, and I'm not sure if that is accurate. I don't know. So I saw it on Twitter, but there's so much out there right now. I can't verify it's true, but I did see a couple tweets saying they were going to do the with cause. Remember in The Office? Is anybody old enough that you watch The Office? Didn't he want to fire Toby or whatever? And then the HR, they were like, you can only do it with cause. And he's like, it's because I hate him. That's the first thing that popped into my mind when they were trying it, when it came out that they were going to try and say it was for cause to be able to lessen the amount. Right. And it's like, well, what's the cause? And then Michael Scott's like, it's because I don't like him. John, everybody's watched The Office. I think you would be surprised how many younger people never in their 20s have never watched that show. Suds, I don't know how old you are, but I guarantee you there's 22-year-olds that have never watched The Office. It's that old of a show now. And I'm that old of a guy now. But it's just, that's the first thing I thought of. They're like, you can't fire him without cause. It's because I don't like him. And it's like, and I don't even want to like speculate on what that moral thing could have been. You know what some of these schools will do? I've seen this before. I'm not mentioning names, but I've seen it before. They can let a coach skirt some rules, either with recruiting or whatever. Are you following me? They will let them skirt some rules, and everybody kind of knows about it, usually with little recruiting stuff, right? And there's kind of a wink and a nod of like, you could do this and we'll make it work. And then the second they don't like the coach, the university will use that against the coach in that clause to be able to get rid of them with cause, right? Kind of like, we're all okay with this, whatever. And then when they want to use it against you, they'll flip it and try and not have a trail that they ever said you could do something. Bring it full circle and then use it against the guy to fire him. So, but I cannot verify. I cannot verify that moral clause thing is real and happening. And I'm definitely not going to get into what it could have been. All I'm saying is no, I'm not going to do it. Like, that's too far even for me. I'm not going to do it. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if any of it's true or not. Suds, yeah, there's some good stuff there. And we're going to get into the Josh Pate stuff in a second. Why should Lane Kiffin go to LSU when they won't pay him what he's owed after he doesn't win the national championship in 3 years? I think the other question is, I see a couple of you backstage. Anybody else wants to join, feel free to jump in. Here's the other question. And this occurred to me yesterday. If Lane Kiffin likes Ole Miss and has them cooking and humming right along, trending right towards making the playoff and having a good shot at making a run, why do you need to go to LSU? Like, isn't the idea of Brian Kelly going to LSU, although misguided, kind of made sense in your mind for like, oh, like a bigger recruiting base and not the academics. And like theoretically, you could understand the theory of like proximity to talent, proximity to a championship, easier to get in the playoff or whatever at LSU than Notre Dame. It hasn't worked out that way. But back then, you could understand that theory kind of on a surface level. If you didn't know all the details of what was going on with Kelly behind the scenes, you could understand that theory. But if Lane Kiffin likes Ole Miss and he's making a bunch of money there, and he could get to the playoff and succeed at Ole Miss, what is the reason to go to LSU then? Is it just to make a couple more million a year? So that's a really fundamental question. Like, if the idea is to position yourself to have a better shot at the playoff and winning a championship, it doesn't seem to me like Lane Kiffin needs to go anywhere to reach those goals. So maybe he's trying to get more money out of it, or maybe he's trying to leverage Ole Miss to give him more money. I don't know. Plus, there's a lot less stress at Ole Miss. It's not a perennial power, so the expectations aren't how they are with LSU. It would be interesting to me to have a team with a coach making a playoff run, and then he jumps to another team that is lower than the team he brought to the playoff. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just something that I'm thinking about. It's like, bro, you might be taking a step down. So I don't know how this is going to go. Pat brought up some Urban Meyer stuff. We'll get into that. Like, there's just a lot of interesting things. And then, oh yeah, Notre Dame has a football game and you play Boston College. So like all of these distractions that I'm a part of producing, quite frankly. I put that in an article the other day. I'm getting uncomfortable with how much attention the Kelly thing is taking away from where we're not all talking about Notre Dame's next game because we're all distracted. I'm a part of the problem. I am a main cog in that problem, by the way. And I'm a little uncomfortable even with myself with all this I've done. I don't regret it and I'll do it again. But you got a football game to win. So it's just, oh man, I love this sport. I'm just telling you, I love the hell out of this sport. Let's get into it. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni out as well. Notifications on, you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you do not want to see my face, nobody blames you. Just like Brian Kelly. They didn't want to see his face anymore. See you later, buddy. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. Every Thursday night, Jack Sullivan and I jump on Patreon. He reviews all of the previous games of the opponent, breaks down their roster, and he runs through everything. Where they're strong, where they're weak, what are their good players, what happened in all these other games, all this stuff. So that'll be tomorrow night on Patreon. Link in the description. Feel free to join us. And so there's just a lot going on. Frank Wilson is from New Orleans. I'm glad you brought Frank Wilson up. So Frank Wilson is the interim guy. Okay. The interim guy taking over for Kelly. And he's a long time LSU guy, down in the culture, been around forever, a ton of respect, like just a glue guy, a culture glue guy. One of the ones Kelly didn't run out of town, right? And I got to write stuff down or I'll forget it. Here's my thought. Take this thing a step further. If you're framing it from a Notre Dame landscape, is there any chance in a million years you get what, like, the interim coach bump and somehow LSU knocks off Alabama and it helps Notre Dame because Alabama gets another loss to a bad team? Is there any world in which this could help Notre Dame more? All of you have seen in football where they fire the head coach and the next, like, for whatever amount of weeks or whatever, the team plays better because they're like, they got rid of that guy and that drama's gone. And then they love the interim because it's usually some grinder assistant coach all the players love and they play their ass off for the guy. Is there any angle where maybe you get one of those bumps? Although I don't know. There's rumors they're not even going to start their quarterback and may go to the other guy. Like, it's a mess. I'm just throwing it out there. Sometimes you see that little bump, that little interim bump. We're going to play for this guy. We're pissed off and we're upset. Or maybe there's even some of this guilt. I don't know how you feel as a player, man. Like, if your coach if you hated the guy, you're happy about it. But is there any like, ooh, man, we failed and then we got our coach fired? Is there any of that? I don't know. It is, Chad Bowden to LSU. He's going to change the surfing thing to just, he's going to be crawdad hunting. You ever see those YouTube shorts where, like, the father and son from the Bayou, they have one of those flat grills and they're grilling shrimp and all the crap they pull out of the Everglades, not the Everglades, but the swamps down there. And then they, go in there, put it in here. And they want about that crawdad. And they put it all on there and they're cooking all these crawd. Everything's moving around and whatever. Like, but they go together, go down, over to that hot sauce. Man, I love doing that. And the Coach O voice. I'm sorry, the Coach O voice. Can't get back on track. I'm on 2019. We ended with the best team of all time. And then they all fell apart. They ran me out, but I did my job. I'm over there at the wedding reception with my shirt off, dancing with the girls. Down there, what they got you say? I love it. SPF says, welcome to the Always Tigers show. Yeah, I'm sorry, SPF. The bye week and playing a 1-7 team doesn't exactly move the needle the way Brian Kelly getting fired does. I'm just telling you, bro. I'm sorry. I know it's been a weird week for you people, but what do you mean, you people? LSU people's who I mean. But a bye week and a game against 1-7 team doesn't exactly move the needle the way that Brian Kelly getting fired does. I'm sorry, man. It just doesn't move the needle. Like, I had people ask me, how many Brian Kelly videos are you going to do or whatever? Can't you let it go last week when I had a few of them? It's like, can't you just let it? It's like, dude, a part of this is a business. What do you think in the middle of Brian Kelly getting fired? What do you think is better for my business? Talking about the game a week and a half away against 1-7 BC or talking about Kelly getting fired? Some of this is a business decision. And a lot of it's personal. A lot of it's very personal. I appreciate Josh Pate giving me a specific shout out on Twitter. Brian as well. I'm going to be fair with that. He shouted out me and Brian of saying these two guys were on top of this 4 years ago. They were right. I should have listened to him. I respect that he did that. And so he gave me and Brian a specific shout out, and I'll take that. There's a little bit of credibility there. So, but he has some major issues he had to clean up. He had some major issues he had to clean up on Twitter. We'll get to that too. So and I see you guys in the chat. We'll bring you up. I got the big nose and the mangoes. And my main man, too. My main man. Here, I want to start. Well, let's do two things. Number one is Sly. Are you guys familiar with this story? Are you guys familiar with this story of Tommy Moffett? This was the LSU strength and conditioning guy for a very long time. I believe he may have been there through 2, if not 3, of the last regimes that won a championship, right? You have like Saban and Les and Orgeron. I think he was there maybe for all of them or 2 out of the 3 of those championship runs. Oh, SPF, you're going to like this. Highly respected guy, good enough that all those coaches like would inherit the regime and want him to be a part of it. And he's got that credibility and all that. And Brian Kelly came in and said, nope, we don't need you. You could go. He goes to A&M, and now look what happened. So they had that culture guy, everybody respected and all that stuff. And Kelly gets in there, had no need for him, sent him away. We don't need you. He goes to A&M. And I saw this text exchange between an LSU reporter and Moffett the day before the game last week. And the reporter says, do you have anything you want to say about coming back to face LSU after Kelly pushed you out or whatever? And the guy responded, my response is going to be with my fist Saturday night. Absolutely love it. It's the most football-y football response of all time. He just said, my response will be with my fist Saturday night. And look what happened. Texas A&M ended up pushing those guys around, taking over their stadium. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, SPF, you knew this is how this was going to go here, man. You knew how I felt about Brian Kelly. And you knew how Brian Kelly felt about me. Like, this was very predictable, man. If you don't want to be here for a couple weeks and let it die down, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. Like, you knew what was coming here. That guy did not like me. I did not like him. It's just, this is how it was going to go. Okay. Here's something I want to bring up and start with. I was thinking about this whole thing of 4 years ago, Kelly leaving, Freeman getting the job. There's all this talk of culture at LSU and culture and all this talk about fits and all these different things. And I messed up. When I did my videos about highlighting all the things I predicted that would go wrong with Kelly that happened and how much Notre Dame would be in a better spot. And I went over the records and the big game stuff. And look where Notre Dame's at now. Look where LSU's at now. It's not what people thought, all of that. I didn't mention this piece, and it's a very important one. This is my mistake. I should have mentioned this front and center in those couple of episodes I did, and I didn't do that. It's my fault. You could talk about the football. You could talk about the big game record, in the ranked team record, and Freeman's doing a pretty good job there overall and all this stuff, right? You talk about all that. But this is above that. I should have mentioned it and all that stuff. I messed up. Marcus Freeman has made Notre Dame football fun and cool. And that is something I wasn't sure I was ever going to see in my Notre Dame life. Marcus Freeman made Notre Dame fun and cool again. I genuinely never thought I would see a time where Notre Dame was like a hip program that's kind of got a vibe, and it's fun and it's cool and whatever, and it's not stuffy old Notre Dame. They got you in church 23 hours a day. That's the reputation. Like, they got you in church 7 hours a day, and you're, you know what I mean? Like, there's no fun and there's no girls. And the football's boring and all, buttoned down and whatever, and nobody lets it rip. Marcus made it fun and cool again. And I think that's pretty cool. It's not that fun, though, losing on the last play of the game in a huge game. Andrew, obviously, I mean, I'm just kind of talking overall, the overarching feel around the Notre Dame program, right? Don't get me started on Texas A&M. They're getting all this push as like, oh, an elite team and all this stuff. You handed them a game at your place. And I got news for you. If you missed a playoff, it's your own damn fault. And I don't want to hear anybody complain about it, although I probably will too. But if you missed a playoff, you have nobody but to blame but yourself. You handed Texas A&M a game at your place because you absolutely refused to play defense. You absolutely refused to play defense. So I whatever, man. It is what it is. So if you missed that playoff at 10-2, blame yourself. You can't lose 2 of your 3 biggest games of the year, play no defense in 2 of them, and then get upset about what happens. Sorry, bro. So maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Our resident Ohio State fan. I just listened to that Monday. I just listened to this show. Drag Kelly Monday. Cool, no problem. But bro, John, move on. You're literally happy and trying to justify someone's failure. No matter the beef, it's lame. It's weird. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. It's personal to me. And I'm not letting anybody tell me my personal business. So I have a personal axe to grind, and I'll grind it till that baby needs to be sharpened again. It's personal to me. So I don't care. I don't care. It's personal to me. The LSU media and the LSU fans and Brian Kelly himself made it personal with me many years ago, and I'm going to finish this thing off till the casket's lowered in the ground and the final dirt is moved over it. And I don't feel bad at all. Unless Notre Dame loses to BC. See, that's where this comes full circle. Callers, I'll get to you. That's where this comes full circle. Not his actual casket, his 10 years casket. Let's be very clear. His 10 years casket. The most from somebody on the outside looking in, that's weird. I don't look at myself as the outside looking in. I look at myself as the inside looking in. I look at myself as the inside. All these people, including Kelly, made it personal. I look at it as the inside looking in. Here's the deal, you guys. If you don't like it, don't watch. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care. Like, it's my show. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care. The most Notre Dame-iest thing in the entire world would be for someone like me to be on their high horse, running their mouth nonstop about Kelly to the point where you just don't even think about BC, and then you end up losing that game by a field goal, and then your whole life's ruined. In my Notre Dame life, these 40 years I've had, that would be, if you ask me, what is the most Notre Dame-iest thing that could happen right now? It is me having a victory lap and all the people trolling Kelly, and then you forget that you have BC and then you lose. That needs to be prevented. Now, I am going to say this. Dr. John's saying, I sure hope the team isn't thinking like you are, whatever. This has been haunting me, Dr. John. I have had this in my mind since all this started it's been in my mind of like, I'm off the trail here and I'm not focusing on BC. I'm over here. I got to realize I am not that important. Marcus Freeman's staff and the players on that team do not go to my morning dumb call-in show of me being immature in my basement for 2 hours a day to get their guidance on what to focus on. What I say doesn't have anything to do with what that team does and what that staff does. So if there is something in the milieu here that I could venture off and talk about and then come back to this, Like, I got to realize that it doesn't matter. Like, the team doesn't take marching orders from what I'm focusing on. So whatever, man. But it is making me a little uncomfortable because it would be the ultimate setup that would happen only to me. It would be the ultimate setup that I go hard on Kelly for a week and I'm not focusing on BC and then we get nailed. That would be the most Notre Dame-iest thing that could happen. And like right when I extend myself and really go at someone hard and I'm extra obnoxious about it, which I admit I have been. I fully admit I have been. You don't have to tell me. I know. I have been obnoxious with this, over the top. That's intentional. That would be where you get nailed. That would be where you get nailed. But again, here's what I'm not understanding. This is a personal beef between me and all these people. Who is anyone else to tell me to move on? I have a personal problem and beef with these people, and I'll stop when I feel like it's appropriately resolved. This isn't any of your business. It's a personal issue between me and the LSU media, the LSU fans, and Brian Kelly. Who is anybody else to tell me when to stop having that beef? It ain't your beef. You haven't been called an idiot who doesn't know about football for 4 years in a row. That's me. These people have been mocking Notre Dame for 4 years, and I want to kind of stick up for the Notre Dame side of things. That being said, you better beat the hell out of BC, boy. 1-7. You better beat the hell out of BC. 1-7 with those ugly colors, man. Turd brown, like barf, diarrhea. Their colors are literally a blend of barf and diarrhea. I can't, there's nothing redeemable about Boston College at all. There's nothing redeemable. So, whatever, man. I have no love. And they're not classy. Anytime they beat us at home in the old turf, they tear up our turf. They steal the turf, trash the locker room. I have no respect for these people at all. I have no respect for these people at all. John hates LSU fans. Google them. Is it on there already? If you chat GPT me and ask what I think about it, is that what it's going to say? I hate them and they stink. Oh, man. And you know what else was weird? One more thing about the Kelly thing. I had a moment. Did you see the videos of him leaving the facility and it was still dark out? And I don't know if it was early morning or late at night, but he was leaving the facility and the LSU people were recording it, right? To show it on social media. Callers, I'm coming to you. Dude, I had this full circle moment of that dramatic video of him driving away from South Bend before the sun comes up or whatever it was. And then to see the identical scene at a different place, it just messed with my head. It was like, all that time went by, but nothing really changed. He's doing the same thing again, leaving a place. It's just all so weird, man. So weird. So I'm sorry, you guys. It is, it's just a personal vendetta between me and these people. And I wanted to defend my entire mission over the 4 years I've been battling with these guys on Twitter and everywhere else. It has just been a mission to show that I know more than you do about this situation and that Notre Dame, you're not going to crap all over Notre Dame. But the whole narrative was little old Notre Dame. You can't win there. You can't make a playoff run there. All these restrictions, whatever. Little old Notre Dame. And I was out to show that that's no longer true. So SPF has a very, very good point. People are talking about the recruiting class. Is anyone surprised? I don't think they've lost anyone out of that class yet. LSU's one of those places a lot of these guys want to go to because it's LSU, man. Notre Dame has some of that. Even in a coaching change, a lot of the guys stick because it's like, I want to play at Notre Dame. And LSU's very similar where these guys want to be at LSU. And so that is a benefit they're going to have going through the process they're going through is people want to be at LSU because it's LSU. You know? So I don't know. It's interesting. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. And then yeah, it is. Here's the other question. I think the next discussion is whether ND should give the guaranteed money in years Kelly got. Freeman has leverage if he wants it. Here's the difference. The difference is Freeman's already shown he can navigate a Notre Dame team into the playoff and then have success there. That's something Kelly's never done. He's been able to get into these playoffs, and then you lose by 900, and you lose all the credibility you built up. The other thing is it was a different era back then. Maybe you could argue Freeman has more flexibility with the portal and the recruiting, and now there's better resources. Some of that's definitely true. But Freeman has more of a high-level body of work of against ranked teams and in the playoff. Freeman has that than Kelly ever did. Here's my question, though. Someone here tell me if I'm stupid. You already know that answer. Tell me if I just don't understand the way the world works. Someone just tell, this is in my brain. Tell me I'm dumb. John, you don't know how the business world works. Why is it that a guy like Freeman and Franklin's contracts are guaranteed for 10 years no matter what? Why? Like, why is it that the coach, who's Notre Dame's quality win? I don't know. Were you alive during the playoff? Just wondering. Were you alive and awake during the playoff, Kent? You should be because your team beat us in the championship, which meant Notre Dame had to win a bunch of games against good teams. Does that not count? Or are you not talking to me and you're talking to somebody else in the chat? Here's my question. Why are those contracts guaranteed for 10 years at $10 million a year, whatever? And on the coach's side, they could just say, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to retire. And they could just leave at any time. Why can't the school say, you're not winning enough games, so we're firing you and go get another job and you're not getting that money? Like, why is it one-sided that the coaches have all the leverage? Why couldn't LSU just have a contract that says 10 years, as long as things are going good, you get $10 million a year, and if you suck, you're out of here. We don't have to pay you because you're not doing what we paid you to do. God, it's a good job. Man, I'm telling you who's a real winner. These agents. These agents are the real winners in all this, man. Negotiating and having all the leverage to get these guys 10-year deals. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I don't know, man. It is, it's interesting. So I don't know what you want to say about it. Supply and demand, I guess. A lot of programs want to be elite. Like, I guess it's all a leverage game, but whatever. It's really, really interesting. And the money, man, you're looking at probably $175 million to dig out of the Kelly thing, unless the moral clause thing is true. Because I don't know what it's going to cost you to get rid of everybody in the staff, and then you're going to have to come in here and then you're going to have to come in here and hire all new people. It's going to get pricey. It's going to get pricey. So I don't know. Really interesting. Somebody else said, aren't you going to lose your mind if they steal Freeman and Freeman goes to LSU or whatever? So everything comes full circle and then John's mad again, right? Play that out. Let's say in a million, like some way that happened. Do you not do whatever you could do to get Elko or Clark Lee in here? Do you not go to Clark Lee and be like, if you did this at Vanderbilt, come back in here? Like, I've thought it through. If like something actually happened like that, do you not go to Elko or Lee and give them whatever they want and have them come? So I don't know. But I see a lot of people putting a lot of rumors out there just to get the rumor mill spinning on a lot of stuff. Yeah, people are saying Lane Kiffin, but I started out asking, why does Lane Kiffin need to go to LSU when he's doing just fine at Ole Miss? More money? He's got Ole Miss in a better position than LSU. So you're going to make a playoff run and then leave that team and have to go rebuild another program up to playoff level? Is it just for more money then? Is it just for more money then? So I don't know. I mean, SPF, you could say downgrade, LOL, but where are the programs at right now? Take an honest assessment of where the programs have been at. One's making playoff runs and the other one's fired the coach and has the governor deciding what's happened. So you could laugh at that, but if you look at where they're at right now, it isn't that funny. So I don't know. Kiffin greater than Lee or Elko. Yeah, but I don't see Kiffin coming to South Bend. Do you? I just think he's more of an SEC guy. I don't see him coming. And then there's the rumor Pat put in the chat that Urban Meyer is talking to Penn State. Where is it? Where's that chat? Callers, I'm coming to you. $5 holler, John Daly. John, honest question. Is BC little brother? I have no respect for that program at all. In an ideal world, you might want to be like, oh, we're all in this religious, spiritual thing together and whatever. So there's some kinship there. I don't like those people. I don't like those people. I don't like how they act. I don't like how they carry themselves. You know how you know you don't matter? Like in the greater landscape. You know how you know you don't matter? You know you don't matter when you are known not for having your own good seasons, but only and exclusively for ruining other people's good seasons. That's how you know you don't matter. And that's all I've known of BC my entire life. And that's just the last 30 years, let's say, is that's a program who's only known for ruining other people's seasons, not having good ones on their own. I don't even like their colors. It is diarrhea and barf and poop are their main colors. They act like trash. They have no respect. So there's literally nothing to like about Boston College at all. I can't think of one redeeming quality. There's nothing to like. There's not even anything to respect. So that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, I guess Leahy was there. There we go. I found one. Leahy was there. Thanks for the $5 holler. There, I found something good to say about him. When James Franklin got fired, I came in here and said, I heard Urban Meyer reached out to Penn State and he wants the job. Now he's in Pennsylvania meeting with people. This would be a case of elite coach, questionable morals, and then he would hook up with a group of people that everyone hates. It is the most unlikable group of people in Penn State. So if Herb wants to fire it back up, let's see what he could do. But it's like questionable morals, but good winner on the field. If he wants to get back into it, let's see. Definitely mix up the Big Ten if you did that. Definitely mix up the Big Ten. Okay, SPF. Before I go to the callers here, I'm going to give Brian Kelly credit for 3 things. I thought about this, how hard I'm going on him and everybody piling on. I've come up with 3 things I genuinely do appreciate about Brian Kelly. And I'm not trolling. This is dead serious. Number 1, he rebuilt Notre Dame to a pretty good spot when Notre Dame was in a horrible spot when he took over. That is true. That is true. I don't think a lot of people understand what a bad position Notre Dame was in and how far behind the modern times the program was. Notre Dame was really in a bad spot. Brian Kelly took it over and he did build it up and built the foundation to make it respectable. I got to give the guy credit for that. Number 2, you already said this already. I'm going to say it again and then say something else. What's with you people? I don't need 5 producers. I'm going to do what I want to do. Son of a buck. Same thing that drives me nuts. I got a guy on the phone call, and the same people that never call in and put themselves out on a limb are going, next. Pain in the ass. That annoys me more than anything else. I'll have people on the line trying to get their thoughts out, and the people that never have the balls to call in and talk themselves are saying, I'm bored. Next. Why don't you call in then? That really does bother me. It does bother me. It's always the people who never call, too, that are sitting there going, I don't like this guy. I'm bored. Next. Bro, why don't you call in and put your thoughts on the air for thousands of people to judge? I don't like this. Next. Son of a buck sometimes. It's like you all want to produce the show. You all want to call. Do it. Number one, he built Notre Dame up from the ground when it was in a bad spot. Here's number two. He brought Marcus Freeman into the ecosystem. He brought Marcus Freeman into the ecosystem. And you do have to appreciate that. And it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget. He did introduce Marcus into this whole thing. So you got to give him credit for that. And here's number three on a personal level. He is the reason I started this show. He is the reason I started this show. If Brian Kelly didn't miserably fail in 2016, none of this ever would happen. And I would not have this business, and this would not be my full-time job. And I wouldn't have met all of the fun, awesome Notre Dame families and people I've met. I honestly mean that. If he went 8-4 in 2016, I'm still selling graves. So, I honestly mean that. I honestly mean that. If it wasn't for that fantastic failure and the media not showing the appropriate level of frustration, none of this would have happened. So, in a very weird way, I owe a lot of this to Brian Kelly. If he didn't fail this bad, I never would have started this show. Halfway through 2016, I started this. And I was so upset with what was going on. And nobody in the media was showing the appropriate level of vitriol for how bad it was. And with my psychology degree and all that, it's like I needed to just talk it out for myself. I needed to just talk it out myself. Big Nose, I'm coming to you. RK Mangoes. And then the main man. That was for me. That was self-therapy for me not to lose my mind. And I felt better just yelling and talking it out in my old office after hours. So I genuinely mean, if it wasn't for the whole Brian Kelly experience, I never would be doing this show. Wouldn't be my full-time job. I wouldn't have met all of you guys. So in a lot of ways, I guess I owe my entire career to Brian Kelly. $10 holler from WPP. John, please don't give the imbeciles in the chat any ideas about calling in. Reading their stupidity is bad enough. Listen, I have a low IQ too, but it's like I'm trying to hold it together here. But I really do mean that, you guys. It genuinely, the number one thing that bothers me the most doing this show is you'll have some poor guy trying to call in, and maybe they're not the best speaker, or maybe they're not the best at putting their ideas together and getting them out. But I'm trying to give the guy a chance. And people are like, next. And it's always people that have never called in themselves to do better or put themselves out on a ledge. It's really easy to sit there and judge everybody else trying to call in and just go next. When do you call in? If you think you could do better and put a polished dissertation out for the people. For the people. Swan Dong says next. Yeah. What about a host of this show? Next. Can we get a new one? All right, I need to shut the hell up. Big Nose, what's going on?
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
I'm good, man. There's just a lot going on in the world of college football. Like, there's just a lot to keep track of these days. What's on your radar?
I know you seem a little bit amped up, but I wanted to wish you a happy, I think, 4-year anniversary. I live in New York, and I was trying to find out more information on Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame in the middle of the night, and I stumbled upon your podcast on YouTube, and I've been listening ever since. So thank you for that.
Oh man, I appreciate that. It's here's the way I put it. I know my strength in all this is not breaking down X's and O's and what play we should have called and what coverage we are in or not. That is not a strength of mine. But I just feel like I have a good understanding of people. And I knew Brian Kelly very, very well. And I knew how he operated and all that. And so that part of this is in my lane. And I felt confident in what I said. And now here we are.
I want to hit on a few points that I think are relevant to what you've been mentioning today. People were upset with you about, I guess being petty with the Brian Kelly situation. But this is a guy who took a job at another college in the middle of the night and couldn't meet with his players for more than half an hour to deliver the news to them. It's also a guy who supposedly made up NFL interest in himself to try and up his own price tag for the Notre Dame AD.
Yeah. Now, here's my thing, man. When he left the way he did in the middle of that November night, right? Whatever, that old drama that happened, it was one of the most amazing nights on Twitter there's ever been. This recent thing with Kelly's another one up there, but the night Kelly left was a wild night on Twitter. I was glad, man. I didn't care how he did it. I knew it was good for Notre Dame. And that part didn't even bother me because I'm just glad it was happening at all. Like, I loved it. I didn't care. I knew it was good for Notre Dame that guy was leaving. And that part of it, it reinforced kind of how his personality is. But I loved it. I wasn't even mad. I was glad. I was so happy that night. As long as Notre Dame didn't screw it up and go with Luke Fickell or something. If they did the thing you should have done and bring Marcus in, it was the best night there ever could have been.
I think that this whole event, and of course 4 years ago, that event highlights the importance of the insider podcasters who, to me, seem to have a better grasp on reality than like your ESPN people who went to college for journalists. Your local guys seem to be much better at gauging what's going on with these specific college football teams than the legacy media.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is hard, man? I think about this a lot. You know how you have these national guys like the JD Pickle guy, Josh Pate, some of these guys that are national guys. It is impossible for you to stay up on all of the details and everything at all these different major programs. It's an impossible task. So what I think you end up with is surface level takes on a bunch of different places. And then maybe they go to one or two specific sources in their network, like an On3 that covers Notre Dame, and then hear what's going on. It's really tough because you can't have all the details on all the teams,
Right. One thing that I wanted to bring up was these people's, those bigger guys' impact on preseason rankings. I mean, they were high on LSU, high on FSU,
and
high
Penn
on
State.
Penn State,
Yep.
high on Michigan, high on USC, high on Arch Manning. And now they're all kind of taking 2 or 3 steps back and saying like, oh, well, I know they weren't going to be that good in the first place. Well, which one is it? Are they a top 10 team or were you wrong?
Yep. There's a lot of that going on now. And I will say, like, the Pate thing, the Notre Dame people made him pay for this one because they pulled up that thread from the On3 board of him saying Notre Dame can't compete. This is a home run. Brian Kelly going there now he's paying. Now he's paying for it. But again, I got to give him credit for giving me and Brian credit for being early on this. I'm glad he remembered that. I'll take it. I'll take that.
I understand that. I just wanted to make 2 more points before I left real quick. The first is that there seems to be a coaching carousel. People are being concerned about the number of firings. I think you're going to see less firings and schools be a little bit more patient when the schools chase the money and expand the playoff to 16 teams. because you're going to get 9-3 teams and many more 10-2 teams. So a 9-3 season might not be viewed as a failure in the future.
Man, what a good point. That's a great point. If you expand this thing to 16, and I've even seen rumors of 20 somewhere, but you're right. The net of what would be considered a good year gets expanded so much. If you could go 9-3 and make the tournament, like, you're right, that would change the framework that you're viewing this off from. That's a really interesting point by you.
I think I did the research. Notre Dame is in the top 16, 6 out of the last 7 years. Even I think Freeman's first year where you lost to Stanford. Was it Stanford, Marshall, and Louisville? You still would have been in the playoff that year.
Man, I just that is wild to think about, because think about the existence as an independent we've lived most our lives. I have felt like if Notre Dame loses one game, a lot of these years we're out of the hunt. Most of my life, I spent thinking if you lose one game, Notre Dame's probably screwed. Like, you're not reaching your goal. Like, this is it's a changing landscape. And you know, the other thing with the expansion, why would you stop? Because all these people want is money and TV ratings. And the more games you have, the more money and TV ratings there are for everybody. So, like, what is the line that would make them stop when they're going to benefit with more money and TV viewing the more they go? Why stop? Like, that's what I'm worried about. Where's the governor when you're getting all this money, right?
I agree 100%. And the only reason why the NFL isn't 30 games is because they're in a union and have collective bargaining. College athletes aren't going to have that access.
Yeah, it's just, I wonder, do you trust the powers that be to stop the expansion before it gets laughable, where there are teams that haven't even had a good year that are making it? Like I wonder where their line is when the more games equals the more money for everyone. That's a lot of incentive to keep going. I could see 16 as a cutoff. Don't you agree, man? If you're below 16th, you're probably not going to win a title. Don't you agree? You could go to 16 and clip it.
To be honest with you, anything past like number 8 gets a little risky in terms of, yes, they could win a first round game, but are they really a threat to knock off number 1, 2, and 3? Once you get into 16, you start including like the Tulanes, the Tulsas, the North Texases, the Armies, I think, of last year. And that's where it becomes a Cinderella story and a great movie for Disney, but something that's unrealistic over a 4 or 5 game stretch.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing, like you said, is like, is anybody worried about the wear and tear on all these players playing all these extra games, like into mid-January and everything? And if you remember, do you remember leading into spring football for Notre Dame, how behind we were physically, having to recover, and a lot of guys took spring off? Like, there was a physical hangover for the Notre Dame program after the playoff run. And it was tough to bounce back for, and Notre Dame spring was heavily affected by it. It's a changing landscape, man. But 16, you got a lot of fan bases and media bases that are going to be a lot more invested because they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I still to this season, you can see the toll that the deep playoff run took on our kickers. I mean, they get pulled hamstrings just from walking to campus.
Yeah, those kickers. That's a problem. That's
John,
a problem. Hey, I'm
gonna leave you with one thing. I have to run real quick. But I complained about a month ago that a friend was having a wedding on the USC game. Ooh. And I want to let you know that I'm listening to you so much. It's an open bar. I go to the bar and the guy says, "What do you want?" And USC marches down. They score a touchdown. Our defense is looking like Swiss cheese for like a minute. And I'm like, "Can I get 3 Miller Lights, please?" And that's the influence you've had on me.
I appreciate it, man. Drink a cold one. It'll be good for you. Okay,
Thank you so much, Johnny.
Hey, quick before you get out of here, feelings on the BC game. Give it to me. Do you think Notre Dame comes out ready and crisp after the bye, or do you think it's sleepy? You got to give me something on BC here on the way out.
Favored by 28.5 points. Most of our spreads aren't that big. I think we're totally going to trounce them. I have to be honest. I don't see the running backs, even the starting running backs, are not going to play in the second half. And you might even see a little bit of Kenny action by the third quarter.
Interesting. Okay, a lot of confidence coming out of the bye. Man, I really do appreciate you jumping in. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks so much, Johnny. Have a good
Have
one.
a good one, buddy. Oh, what a nice guy. Mangoes, you're coming up next. Mark, I've been yelling at a lot of people. You missed me yelling. I yelled at a lot of people. You're going to have to go back and watch it. And I don't mean to be a jerk in my own show, but it's like, dude, I got 8 producers here. Like, can you just, I'm trying here. Give me a break. I'm still saying the number one thing that bothers me is people that never call telling everybody else their call sucks. Bro, you get on and share your thoughts. You think everybody else is so bad at it. Do you guys remember that guy that called after the USC game one year and he had a panic attack in the middle of his call and no one knew what was happening? Because I know some of you guys remember that. Now people are putting next. Do you remember that guy? God bless him, man. He called on a USC postgame show when we won, and he had a panic attack mid-call and literally had a breakdown where he was like breathing hard and like tearing up, and he said, I gotta go. And I had no idea I couldn't figure out what we were dealing with. And I didn't know if I was being trolled. I didn't know. I didn't know. And then I get an email after the show and the guy was like, dude, I have real like social anxiety talking to crowds or people, anything like that. But he was like, I really wanted to talk to you, but I couldn't do it. And I had a panic attack. And he's like, this poor guy was emailing me like, he's like, bro, he's like, I'm so sorry I ruined your show. And like, I'm so sorry that I like brought down the vibe and what I did to your show. I'm like, dude, it's all good, man. I appreciate a guy that knows he has that kind of issue willing to call in and try it. I really appreciated that. So like, that was wild, but like, it was, yeah, dude. And then I felt bad because I didn't know what I was dealing with to try and navigate it. And then for that guy to email me, like apologizing, feeling like he ruined my show. It was just like, I appreciated that. For a guy with that anxiety to want to call in enough to risk it. It was awesome. I feel bad. I wish the guy would call back. Hey, let me bring up something with BC real quick. Mangoes, you're going to come up next. Here's something with BC. When you look at their year, their only win is against Fordham in week 1. Their only win is against Fordham in week 1. Fordham. But I believe in their last game, they were pretty competitive with Louisville. And Louisville's a team that I think people kind of respect as like a higher mid-level team. So I'm just wondering where you guys are at on this. And you're coming out of the bye. And so it's like, is it sleepy Notre Dame on the road against a one-win team and all that? Or is it, we know the mission. We know you got to win all these games and do it pretty impressively if you want to make this field. We are well rested. Our bodies are rested. Our minds are rested. And we are fully zoned in and focused on these remaining 5 games. And we're going to knock some heads, man. We're going to knock some heads. I want to know which way this is going to go. You know what I don't want to see? I always talk about the most Notre Dame-iest things that could happen. All of us saying we're favored by 28.5 or whatever, and they're a one-win team, and we got to look good to get in that playoff and blow everybody out or whatever. And then watch, it'll be the halfway through the second quarter, and it's 7-6 in Boston. I've just been around Notre Dame too long. The most Notre Dame-iest thing in this moment is you're halfway through the second quarter. It's 7-6 Notre Dame. I'm just telling you, change this, Notre Dame. Like, you know what I want? End of the first quarter, 17-0 Notre Dame. End of the first quarter, 17-3 Notre Dame. 14-0, whatever. Get out ahead of these guys early. The more you let a dog team at home hang around and have hope of an upset or whatever, you're asking for something really bad to happen. The longer you let a team like this hang, you're asking to get banged. I'm serious. You let them hang, you get banged. So we can't kick field goals. Well, theoretically, the good news is you shouldn't need it in this game. So I guess that's good news. But Freeman was out there saying the injury affected the. Tell me if I'm wrong. It seemed like Marcus was saying the injury he wasn't injured in the last game, but the injury affected how he played in the last game. Do I got that right? Mangoes, you're coming up. Do I have that right? It felt like he was saying he wasn't injured in the game, but the injury he suffered affected his fundamentals in the game. Bro, figure this stuff out. Figure it out. You cannot have a maybe playoff Notre Dame season go down the crapper because of a kicking situation. You can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah, he looked hurt against SC. He was either hurt or drunk. Like, I hope he was hurt. So, people are saying 28-0 at half, 56-7 final. I'm telling you what. Oh, man, that'd be a relaxing post-game show to do. That would be, imagine that, logging in and it's already taken care of and everybody's blood pressure's down and we just celebrate it. Here's the other thing. I talked to Mangoes. Somebody else put in the chat what other teams we want to lose off the slate this week to prop Notre Dame up more. Somebody put in the chat, like Vanderbilt, whatever it is. Somebody I know has done the research. Mark with glasses, somebody put in there who Notre Dame should want to win or lose so everybody has a little cheat sheet there so we know what to root for or against in our game. Anybody interested in USC Nebraska? Isn't that this week? Just not for like playoff purposes, but just general intrigue. I believe USC goes to Nebraska. If I'm not wrong, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. We need ACC teams to lose. Let me ask this question before I go to Mangoes, which I've been saying for 45 minutes. Let me ask this. Don't shoot the messenger. Just asking. It's Riley's tarmac game, Johnny. Yeah, Roger Dodger. I'm very intrigued with that matchup to see how USC bounces back. That's a tricky spot. Here's what I'm going to ask. Is there any scenario where Notre Dame jumps a one-loss ACC team? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm not saying it should be. I'm not saying it's warranted. I'm asking, is there any scenario where they look at it and they just like respect the way Notre Dame looked and what they did more than a one-loss ACC team? Not now, but maybe later. I don't know. But it crossed my mind. Is there a scenario where they look at it and go, you know what? Notre Dame has 2 losses, but look who they were to or whatever. And then I'm just asking. Kent's laughing at me. I already said, I'm not saying this should be. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's justified. I just said I'm throwing out the idea there. Could the committee do something like that? I'm just asking. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just asking the questions. I feel like I'm having a rough day here today with the people. For some, usually I'm pretty good with the people. I feel like I'm having a problem with the people. Oh, boy. It's tough, man. It's tough out here. Mangoes, good morning. What's up, brother?
Nothing much. I might make it a little more difficult for you. You might actually ban me when I'm about to tell you. Regards to The Office, the show, I have never watched an episode of it.
Yeah, dude, it's an older show, and I didn't even watch The Office when it was popular. I watched The Office when I was like 30, and it's summer and there's no football on, and they play it for free on my TV app. Like I don't watch a lot of regular TV. I never watched The Office when it was a thing. I watched it when I was like 30 and it was done, and I rewatched it and I could see why people liked it. But yeah, it was just funny. He wants to fire the guy and they say you need cause. It is because I hate him.
I can see that. All
There's
right,
your
so
cause.
there you go. All right, I got a lot to say. I want to machine gun this. All right, I want to be talking about schedules, the rankings, how that applies to Notre Dame, and your schedule from here on out for the rest of the year. So I'm covering multiple weeks.
Please do.
So as for it stands right now, your ranking is going from top to bottom: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, BYU, Miami, and then you got Notre Dame. Schedule-wise, Miami, quality win. Notre Dame, rest of the season, they got to play North Carolina State, at Virginia Tech, at Pitt, NC State, and Pitt. I say that they're the dark horse that could possibly trip them up. Miami doesn't look like they're going to the ACC championship. Next up on the list, you got BYU. BYU is leading the Big 12 conference right now, undefeated 5-0. Two teams that are going to have to play is on the road at Cincinnati Bearcats and Texas Tech Raiders. And also, should they beat those teams and still being in the contention for the conference championship, there's odds that they can lose some games helping Notre Dame out. Next, Vanderbilt Commodores, quality win, LSU, or LSU or Missouri. Rest of the schedule, at 20 Texas, and then they got at Tennessee. Very difficult schedule they're going to have to manage. More chances that they lose, especially if they're good enough to go into the SEC championship. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, top of the ACC, undefeated, quality win. Clemson, they went on a downturn. Rest of the schedule, NC State, Boston College, Pitt, and at Georgia. Again, two dark horses I'm seeing, NC State and Pitt. Georgia, they're not beating Georgia. And should they go to the ACC championship, another chance that they're going to lose another game, helping Notre Dame out. Ole Miss Rebels, SEC, quality win. It'll be against Oklahoma, at Oklahoma for that reason. They won on a road trip, and they don't got any ranked opponents. They can probably get SC, South Carolina, or Mississippi State. Mississippi State is on the road with Ole Miss. They can possibly lose. I don't think they're going to the SEC championship. Then you got Georgia, quality win, Tennessee, overtime, and then the rest of the schedule, Texas and Georgia Tech. Again, I say Georgia Tech is going to lose to Georgia. They may go to the SEC championship. It could be Georgia. It's going to be a three-way battle between Georgia, Alabama, and Texas A&M. Alabama, they're looking strong. They've got one more ranked opponent. It's Oklahoma. They're hosting it. They might go to the SEC championship. Texas A&M, quality win. Notre Dame at this point, I mean, like, they blew the doors off of LSU, and they got two more ranked. They're at Missouri this week. Did I get that right? No. It's next week, I guess. They're on a bye week. And then they got at Texas. Oregon ain't going to go to the Big Ten championship. It looks like it's going to be Ohio State and Indiana. And that's basically your rundown on the top 12, 12 teams right now.
Let me ask this. Let me ask you something. With these conference championship games, didn't the committee say anybody who makes the title, their conference championship, even if they lose, they're not going to get dinged for the loss as a reward for making it to the title game? They don't. Is that still not a thing? Because that doesn't really help Notre Dame. Then if that's just a free game for whatever, and then they end up with somebody ends up with another loss, doesn't that not matter as much anymore?
Well, that all depends. Like, you look at Georgia Tech, if they were to lose one conference game, they can possibly, squeeze in because they only have one loss late in the season. I think that's where it becomes more relevant. But when you get teams, or even BYU, to the same point on that, it all depends. Well, like Vanderbilt, if they lose, they're probably going to be missing the playoffs. They already have a one loss, not Missouri, but you got other teams out there that are, already at one loss, and they lose again. They'll probably dip down, and Notre Dame could sneak in, like Ole Miss, Oregon, and Georgia and Alabama. They're at one loss. So it all depends on the dynamics. And Notre Dame's schedule, you got Boston College, Navy, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, and Stanford. Syracuse, Stanford, and Boston College are the bottom feeders of the ACC. You guys shouldn't even have any problems with that. Not Syracuse, Navy, they're undefeated, but their quality win was Temple. They didn't play any ranked teams. They talk about Notre Dame don't play anybody. Neither does Navy Midshipmen, and it should be an easier game for Notre Dame. Pittsburgh.
I read that Navy has the weakest strength of schedule in the entire country. I read that on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
People were like, look at what they're doing. And then they're like, yeah, literally they played the weakest schedule in the entire country, I believe.
Yeah, I think your next is honestly, my honest opinion. I think your toughest game coming up is Pittsburgh because it's on the road, and these guys can pass on you.
And Narduzzi hates Notre Dame so much too. He's always hated Notre Dame. That guy wants to hammer Notre Dame. He's got a hard on for Notre Dame every year.
Yeah, a lot of people do nowadays because you guys are winning football games, and again, they're just looking at past history and just basing off of old information the modern Notre Dame football. It's very interesting, and like I said, you're going to have those haters. The better you guys get, the more people are going to hate you, and those haters are going to double down on that. You saw that happening after you guys beat Georgia in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this too. And you're not a Notre Dame guy. So I like that because it's like an objective kind of perspective. Let me ask this. Mm-hmm. How important do you think it is that Notre Dame not just win the remaining 5, but look really impressive doing it? Like, do you think that doesn't matter at all and 10-2 is good enough? Or do you think that it's an added bonus that if you kick the crap out of everybody, it would give you momentum in the committee's eyes? How important do you think it is that Notre Dame impresses in the next 5, not just gets by in the next 5?
Oh yeah, definitely. You need that. You need that. Anything that helps, And one thing that does really favor well with Notre Dame's is strength of schedule. You guys lost to top teams. I mean, it's better to get a good quality loss than having a 60-point blowout against a Group 5 school. I mean, and it does always help when you got teams that are ranked higher than you. Lose games like the old BCS format. Remember that? It's kind of like Notre Dame's in that situation as is, because you guys are really on the edge right now off of a cliff, and it's like LaDoyle rules, Adam Sandler, somebody does something and then goes the family off the cliff. You guys are on the cliff right now, and if you beat the brakes out of all these teams, especially Pittsburgh on the road, that'll be very convincing. And Jeremiah Love, if you can get some like 200 rushing yards per game, that's really going to look really good on you. But that's like a hypothetical. But your defense is improving. You do got a strong offense. They put it all together. Notre Dame gets into the playoffs without any questions. They're going to have to. Like, Notre Dame's going to force these guys in a difficult position. And probably, and we've seen how ACC teams get left out of the playoffs, like Florida State for being an example. And that could possibly be someone like Georgia Tech, like someone can get shafted to get you guys in because you guys are more convincing right now because you guys played the tempo of a playoff team.
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this. How important in this discussion is the Notre Dame brand? Like, they have a little credibility from what they did in the playoff last year. There's credibility that if you put them in, they can hang, and the committee doesn't risk embarrassment of having a team in that doesn't belong or can't play. How important do you think the brand is? Like they can't get up there and go, we want Notre Dame for TV ratings, but I guarantee they're thinking we kind of want Notre Dame for TV ratings. Who would you rather have in the playoff for your TV and your ticket sales, Virginia or Notre Dame? Does that matter or not? Yeah. Or should it matter or not?
It does matter significantly. I mean, the common myth with Notre Dame football is the schedule. Oh, you guys don't play anybody. That's the independent get to pick whatever. And Notre Dame's been playing quality ranked team, even with Brian Kelly over, and it just goes to the fact that people, it's like low IQ casual college football fans that think that kind of thing, like, oh, you beat this team, so therefore you should go undefeated, and not always the case. And with that being said, I just, the brand Notre Dame is still the iconic blue blood football of the Midwest. They still, like Michigan, Ohio State, they're definitely in that. And the brand that does, it's like the playoff game when you have the show and always Irish Senior comes in and say like, this is how it used to be. You know how much nostalgia that man went through when he realized that to say to you, like that brand is still there. Lou Holtz, Frank Leahy, Knute Rockne, Eric Parmes. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but you guys are definitely still up in the realm on that.
Just call him Era. That's good enough.
Era, all right, fair enough. But like you guys still have that powerful brand, like Joe Paterno at Penn State, but it's still modern. I need to read that book, by the way, and also the other one that looks like a football pigskin. Yeah, where do you get that? I would like to read that someday.
I actually the old looking one, my brother found it on eBay. I have no idea. He found it on eBay and got it for me for Christmas one year. It was like $3 or whatever, and he got it on eBay.
Nice. Yeah, anyways, but to answer your question, man, like Notre Dame is still that brand football, it's the blue blood. You can't take that away from Notre Dame. You can try to, but good luck with that.
Yeah, it's man, this is going to be an interesting run. And the number one thing is Notre Dame has got to you just got to keep winning. Like before I worry about blowing everybody out, you got to be focused and ready to go. And the other issue on the way out here is injuries, man. Notre Dame had like 14 guys on that injury report. And Goolsby's talking about no one wants to admit the offensive line situation. You get another injury or two and you're down to like your 8th, 9th, 10th guys on the O-line. I don't know what you do then. Like, so the injury thing's a little tedious too. I guess it's a benefit. You're not playing great teams on the back half of the schedule.
Well, and that's not your fault that teams suck. That same thing with Ohio State. It's not our fault that we're playing against teams that just suck. I mean, that's not, don't ever apologize for greatness, you guys, because that's exactly what you guys been doing since Marcus Freeman. You guys went toe to toe against Ohio State and crawling back, I mean, if Notre Dame played like how they played in the second half against Ohio State in the first half, it'll probably be a different ball game because Notre Dame they know how to fight. They know how to hit you. They know where to get you. They do have that, and it's just amazing seeing how they're able to hone in an ability to even beat Georgia's.
Yeah, it is. Man, this is going to be interesting. There's a lot going on, man, in the landscape. This sport we all love. It never fails to entertain you. You have all the coaching drama. And then you have the final month of the year for playoff position. And then everything in the immediate off season is going to be amazing too with all the coaching changes. And it isn't just guys going to places, but everybody that has to backfill staffs where they just got left. There's going to be a huge reshifting of all of this landscape. It's going to be a wild next few months.
I'll say one more thing. I'll leave it here. I know I'm elapsed way over 5 minutes, but you know what? What's really great? I never liked BK, and it looks like Notre Dame got the last laugh. LSU starting from scratch all over again, and Notre Dame is talking about going into the playoffs. So with that being said, you guys have a great day. Thank you for having me on and let me talk some stupid stuff with you.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you being here. Have a good day. Man, that guy's always around now. It's just nice to have somebody that jumps in regularly. David Irish, you're coming up. Let me read this super chat. Yes, but look at the committee. The Virginia AD is in it. She'll be advocating for the ACC. She can't directly advocate for Virginia, but the conference shares revenue. 2 teams is good for notoriety. Let me ask this. In what world does anyone think it's fair to have active people that are involved with the teams you're deciding who comes in and then why? Why? Like, I'm just generally asking, like, is that fair? Like, don't you have to leave the room? Or like, it's just a little weird to me that you have active people that have a financial investment in the success in these specific teams picking which ones get to get in. Like, that concept seems a little wild to me, that you have people that have a financial investment on who gets in the playoff, deciding who gets in the playoff. I wonder which way they're going to lean. That just seems a little wild to me, man. So I don't know. It's interesting. David, I'm coming. $10 holler solely. We are not a lock at 10-2. I do think we can make it if we beat the brakes. But just win convincingly. Make it if the brakes fall our way. Again, there's certain people telling me 10-2 Notre Dame is in automatically. There's other people telling me 10-2 Notre Dame is in if they look good in the remaining 5. Dominate. What do they call it? Game control, whatever it is. And then I got people saying we're screwed and you need like 3 other teams to lose and knock each other out, or we're not getting in even at 10-2 if you win by 30. I don't know what the truth is. And you know what's going to help you figure it out, though? The first playoff ranking is going to tell you a lot. The ones that matter the most are the first and the last, because you're going to get an idea of the general level of respect they have for your program and everybody else in that first one, seeing where you're at. So the first one and the last one are very, very important. So I don't know whether Notre Dame's going to be valued like right at that 12, like 13, right on the edge. Maybe there's a scenario where the committee overvalues Notre Dame more than even we do. Maybe they value Notre Dame with the 2 losses more than a team that has 1. I don't know. Or maybe you're number 14 in the first playoff. Like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You know how you could avoid all this? Don't lose your first 2 games. Don't lose your first 2 games. I'll even go this far. You could have lost 1 of your first 2 games. You just couldn't lose 2. You absolutely could not afford to lose those 2 ball games, and you absolutely handed A&M a victory in your building for no reason. You didn't even have to win them both. You could go 1-1 and Notre Dame would be totally fine. You just couldn't lose 2, and you lost 2. Miami earned that one and played a fundamentally sound game against you. A&M did not earn that win. You literally handed it to them and then escorted them out of your building. You didn't even have to play good defense. If you just played average, mediocre defense, you would have at least won 1 of those games. This is all the stuff that keeps me up at night. And if Notre Dame ends up number 13, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And it's like, well, you had the first 2 games, but look at how good it's been since. It's like 2 different seasons, kind of. Yeah, but not really. I understand what you're saying, but those 2 games were in this season, and they mattered a lot. You could have played your same terrible defense, and if you just caught balls the other quarterback threw to you, Notre Dame's probably actually undefeated. Keep everything else the same, how bad you look defensively, giving up 900 points to A&M in your building, all this stuff, right? If you just catch a ball thrown right to you, Notre Dame's probably undefeated. Couple of them in Miami, couple of them in A&M. All you had to do is catch a ball thrown right to you. Notre Dame probably went, but you didn't do it. And if you end up on the outside looking in, it's your fault. You can't lose your first 2 games. And you also can't lose 2 of your biggest 3 games. That's the other part. It isn't just that it's first 2. You had 3 big games, bro. You can't lose 2 of your 3 big games and be like, we deserve things. And the big kicker, David Irish is coming up. Here's the big kicker with this. If you miss this playoff and you end up like number 13 or whatever, the biggest shame in all this is you have lightning in a bottle, 1 in a million, J.D. Price, Jeremiah Love in your backfield together. It would be a damn shame to finish 13th because you couldn't figure out how to even play average defense in the first 2 ball games. And you miss an opportunity to see what Love and Price could do in a playoff. It's going to be really, really painful to miss out when you had those two guys, and I think they're both gone. You knew Love was gone. I think Price has played himself into the first few rounds of the draft, and he'll probably go too. So if you miss this playoff, you have nobody to blame but yourself, and you're missing a golden opportunity to see Price and Love out there in those games. It would be soul crushing. However, you did it to yourself. Don't lose 2 games. Play good defense. Like look like you're from planet Earth in the concept of how to play defense, and you at least win one of those ball games. So it would be a catastrophic, miserable, upsetting thing. Nobody to blame but yourself. Can't lose your first 2 games, man. Who do you think you are? You can't lose the first 2 games. David, welcome in. Good morning.
Hi, Johnny. First time listener, long time caller here. I wonder if you can hear me. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, you are
right,
crystal
cool.
clear, man. Hey, I always love having new people. Thanks for jumping on. What's on your mind, man? We've been all over the place today. There's a lot going on in the landscape.
Yeah, I've been listening to you probably for 3 years. This is my first time calling in this season because of your popularity and I guess my schedule. So it's good to get through. Get through to you. I just wanted to talk about my experience with the rankings.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame has a great brand. As many longtime college football fans know, losing early helps than losing late. And I just think if Alabama goes 10-2 or 11-2 or whatever they go, and we go the same record, Alabama has a great story and a great history. Georgia, great story, great history for brand and viewership. I think we really need BYU and Vanderbilt to lose. Yeah. Vanderbilt plays Texas. I think they play Tennessee the last game. BYU plays Texas Tech. There are hard schedules. We need one of those weaker brand teams to have 2 losses. If Georgia Tech loses, they only have 1 loss. We'll have 2. So we need one of those not top tier SEC teams to have 2 losses, like a Vanderbilt, still not top tier yet. They're a great Cinderella story, but they're not Alabama or Georgia. So
man, I've been waiting for BYU to fall for a while.
Exactly.
You know? Like I've been just every week I kind of look at who they play. I'm like, maybe this is the week, and they keep pulling it out, and it's I don't know, man. It's a really tricky dynamic. Like, you want to see Notre Dame make it, but like, I understand you started out 0-2, and there might be a price to pay for that.
Yes, I agree. And I think I'm 50-50 on us going 10-2 and automatically getting in. I'm not 100% with that. But again, if a BYU or Vanderbilt, because Memphis can get in, ranked 21, because they're in the, Power 5 or what have you. So you can't really say anything about that because they get an automatic bid. We really need those 2-3 teams in there with 1 loss that are a little bit weaker of a franchise, I guess you could say, or history to have that second loss. And then I'm 100% that we're in.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. It's going to be really frustrating if you're just on the edge out, but it's like, I got a hard time blaming anybody but ourselves, man. And here's the other part too. If Notre Dame played up to Notre Dame's standard and lost to A&M by 1 point or whatever, but I felt like Notre Dame played a really good game and they just made one more play than you, that hits me very, very differently than what happened where our defense was non-existent. Like, it's not even like I'm like, we put together a good game and just got beat that night. No, like, it's all so frustrating and it feels like a different season now, but it's all connected.
A few things about that game and kind of the first 2 games is we had so much new. We had a new quarterback, and it wasn't Riley Leonard coming over from Duke. It was a brand new, fresh face, diaper dandy, as who's that? Dick Vitale likes to say. True freshman, and a new defensive coach. It's just too much new. So I think they forgot that they had Love and Price in the backfield the first 2 games, and they were like, let's get this new guy, this trainee up to speed in the office, so to speak.
Didn't we all complain Love and Price had like 16 carries against Miami or something, which is just criminally low usage for those guys? Like, and obviously the point the point output wasn't the problem against A&M. It was the giving up the points was the problem against A&M.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the Titanic took on too much water. It was a new quarterback, new defense, new defensive schemes, not ignoring, but not using the backfield as much. They threw these outs 30 yards laterally to the side, sideways. And then I'm not going to blame the guy because it's a team sport, and I played football in college, so like I know it. But it was just so funny to see Tyler Buckner post on LinkedIn, "I got a job with a big firm," and everyone's so happy. And then 3-4 days later, maybe his mind is not really on football. But I'll just make that comment there. But you know what I mean by that? He was probably very excited, and I'm moving on, and he's not playing, and he's on the bench, and he's just like, I need to get through these next couple months, and then I have my six-figure broker salary.
Here's the other part of it, man. Here's the other part of it. And I don't want to, there's no way for me to bring this up without somebody in the chat saying I'm just making excuses. However, I couldn't think of a much more difficult start than at Miami and then hosting A&M. You just didn't have the margin to not play well and escape with the win while you were breaking in a new DC and a new quarterback. You didn't have the margin to be able to not play a good game and still win while you learn your personnel or who needs to play or not in the secondary or where Carr's starting levels are at. Like it all built up to where you just had no margin there and you got beat because you didn't play good enough.
We were the only team to have 2 top 10 teams in the first 2 games, right? Miami's still top 10. So we're definitely the only team to have, I think they were top 7 at one point and before Miami lost. So a top 7, 8 teams, 2 of them within the top 8 with a new quarterback and new defense. No one else did that this year.
Yeah, it's
kind of setting yourself up. And they knew there wasn't, no, they didn't know because you schedule the games 2 years ahead of time. But anyway, they didn't know the defensive guy was going to leave. But it's just too much new, too hard. And we only lost by 1 for A&M. So I just think as far as getting into the playoffs, losing early, A&M continues to win. Miami doesn't lose again. And we need a BYU Vanderbilt type team to have another loss. We're in. And then it's, next play, who cares about the first 2 games, playoffs, it's like we went into confession, we were forgiven, and now it's playoff time, right?
Yeah, and it is a long time ago. It's a long season. Notre Dame's grown a lot. It's a long season, but it's just like those losses could haunt you if you're not careful. And the final.
Hey, Johnny, you know what loss haunts me from 1993? I think you do.
Oh, boy.
So, as far as haunted as a Notre Dame fan, I have the banner up in my room, 1988, and I want to write down 1993 up there.
It is Halloween in a couple of days, so we're haunted for sure. You got 93, and you know what else too? The green jersey one at home in 2002, where we had green jerseys and fumbled 7 times and lost 5 of them. Remember that one?
Yep, and the USC Bush push. The media loves to throw that in our face every time we play USC or whatever. So there's about, since I've been alive, there's been about 5 hauntings for me. So, it's just par for the course with Notre Dame. I do have to go. I'll try to call in again before the end of the season. And I do want to give a shout out to my girlfriend, Claire. We've converted her, John, to a Notre Dame fan.
Nice.
So I want to say,
you'll
Claire,
take it.
Yeah,
Welcome
Claire, I love you.
Claire.
And we're going to continue to watch John after the games on Saturday. So have a good day.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for jumping in, man. Really good first timer there. Welcome Claire in here. She's stuck with us now. Oh, man. You never know who's going to show up here. Brendan, what's going on? Welcome to the show, buddy. I can't understand you. Brendan! Yo. I feel like I hear things moving around. I hear little clicks. I hear little beeps. The guy... Brendan, I can't understand you. Let's try it again. Do I got you, Brendan?
John, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, there we go. We got it.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Hey, If you can hear me, I'm sorry, John. For whatever reason, StreamYard bugged out. So I was giving it props last time, but I see you, but can't hear you. So I'll just say what I got to say, and I'll leave unceremoniously.
What do you mean
Hey,
you can't hear me?
Hey, we got to be more aggressive, I think, as a fan base regarding the argument against Notre Dame that we avoid a conference championship game. And I would argue on 2 points. Who was it that decided, one, that you should have a conference championship game, right? It's the conferences themselves. And so it's not like Notre Dame said, hey, SEC, you need to have a conference championship game. You know, if you go back 50 years or whatever, or 40 years, there weren't really conference championship games. So the default setting is not each conference should have a conference championship game. So again, it's kind of the argument. Notre Dame didn't change. Everyone else changed. And that doesn't automatically make a new default. And then two, I mean, wrapped up in this kind of the whole conference construct overall. What's the point of a conference? It's to like pool a bunch of teams together so that collectively that they can, you know, have better bargaining rights for TV deals, et cetera, that they can, you know, share the load around. So freaking Rutgers gets the same cut as Purdue, which gets the same cut as Ohio State. Now, the goodness of that, right, is Ohio State gets to leverage its brand. And, you know, the lower tier teams get to benefit from essentially, you know, the value of the bigger name brands as well. So it's, you know, the benefit, and that, I guess I say all that to say that includes the value of the conference championship game. So, you know, so Georgia Tech, they make the ACC championship game once every 20 years, but they get a cut out of the value of the monetary or the funds produced from the championship game. So it's like they want both, and they both want the value of being in a conference, and they don't want any penalty for if things don't go sideways, right? So like if Georgia Tech makes the playoffs because they won the conference championship game, but they were 9-3. They want that, but they don't want the fact that if they lose the conference championship game, oh, that shouldn't count because Notre Dame wasn't in one. I think that's bull garbage. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. And we don't need to be shy about advocating for our own independence, nor should we apologize for the fact that we don't have one. Screw those guys. Like if they could do it, they would. So I guess I'll leave it at that, John. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard on my side. Sorry about that. Go Irish.
You know what's funny about that? What's funny about that is it's like what somebody should do is say what he said of like, I can say stuff, but I can't hear you, but they can hear me, but they just don't want me to talk. So you just say, I can't hear you. I'm going to say what I want to say, even though they can't hear me, but then it's a good way to not have to listen to me. And I just sit there and then you say whatever you want. I don't say anything and then you're out. I like it. I like that a lot. I do. That's good. That's really good. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I can't understand you. Look at this. Is this what I think it is? I've decided to apologize to Notre Dame fans. Here's your apologies, you guys. I don't think those are thumbs up. I don't think those are thumbs up. I think that's something else. Here's the thing, man. I don't blame LSU people for being pissed off. I'd be mad too. Like, I really would. I'd be so mad at this whole thing. And then what I get joy out of is knowing how much the Notre Dame thing bothers that we were right. Like, in seeing all of it, I know it eats these podcasters and these guys up knowing we were right and there's no gray area and they got to admit it. It just kills them inside. I love it. Feeds my soul. Anyways. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for the show. I don't listen. This show had a weird vibe. Like, usually I get along really well with everyone in here. Like, it was a little edgy today with certain stuff. I don't know why. I don't know why, but there was a little edge here to all of this stuff, man. Like, just a little. Renee's going on and off the chat on video, just giving me hand signals while he's listening. But yeah, just it was a little tedious in here today. And I mean, every once in a while you got to mix it up. So whatever, it is what it is. Thank you guys for being here. I love you being here. I'll have a video for you in the morning. Jack and I will do our full BC preview on Patreon tomorrow night, and we'll get the rest of the week going. $20 olive from Slick Rick, oil money in Texas. Congrats to the Irish. Keep it up. Still open for round 2 of the playoffs. Gig 'em. Hey, I got to tell you, Rick, I mean, we're fans of A&M now. Everybody respects their coach that had Notre Dame ties. You finished the Kelly era. That kind of benefits me too. Like, I mean, I guess we're on your side, brother. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Have a good one.